Well, when you log into Blackboard, this is what your Blackboard homepage is going to look like. Most of you are probably familiar because chances are you've had a course that has used Blackboard in the past, but if not, on the right side you'll see your My Courses tab, which will list all the courses that you're currently enrolled in. For me, it's listing all the courses that I've taught in the past or I'm currently teaching. So we will go ahead and log into one of the spring short session courses. Okay, so this is what our Blackboard module is going to look like. Let me spread this out a little bit. Okay, I'm going to turn the editing off so that you can see, we can show you exactly what your screen is going to look like. Okay, so this is what our homepage is going to look like in Blackboard when you log in. Now, if you go over to the left side of the menu bar, the coursework link, this is where you're going to find everything that you need in my course. So if you click on the coursework, it's going to show you weeks 1, 2, and 3. Now, for every week in our course, I'm going to have a coursework module. So I've only listed the first 3 weeks now. Of course, we get closer to the 4th weeks and so on. I will open the future weeks up. But for now, I have opened the first 3 weeks so that if you want, you can get a head start. But every week is going to look like this in Blackboard. And this is just to make it easier for you guys to navigate Blackboard. I'm hoping this will make it a little more seamless process. So if you click on week 1, which is what we're doing our introductions this week, at the top of every course module, every week module, there's going to be a to-do list, and this is going to contain all the things that you need to finish for that particular week. So for this week, you're going to watch the introduction video to our course. You're going to review the syllabus, watch this syllabus video, and then complete the syllabus quiz. And syllabus quiz is an EVA assignment. I just want to point out the EVA assignment is a requirement that Central Piedmont puts on all of its classes to make sure that the students who are enrolled are actually enrolled in the course. So it's a way to verify attendance. So if you fail to complete this syllabus quiz by the 10% deadline, which comes up pretty quickly in a short session course, at that point you would be unable to continue in the course. Even if you had participated in the discussion board, even if you had done all the things that you're supposed to do except that syllabus quiz, since that is the EVA quiz, if you haven't completed it, then Central Piedmont will not allow you to continue in this course. So make sure that you're doing it this first week. If you're going to be in my second short session, then ignore those dates at the top. Obviously, your dates will be starting in March, so you won't need to worry about it. But it is the same material, so no worries. And then the last thing you'll do for me this first week is you'll complete the discussion board. Okay? So, and everything that you ever need is going to be in that particular week's module. So for this week, you're going to have your syllabus listed here. There's going to be links to this video and the introduction video by the time you see this screen. You're also going to see your syllabus quiz is listed here. It does tell you that you only have one attempt at the quiz and the time limit is 40 minutes. And then down at the bottom is your discussion. That's going to be your discussion prompt, and you're going to click on that discussion, and that's where you'll actually post your response for this week. Okay? I do have that. Okay, so let's get started in the syllabus. I'm not going to read this entire syllabus to you because I think you can probably read this on your own time, so I'll go through it pretty quickly. But just to recap from the introduction video, I am Jordan Bullington. I'm your instructor. Now, my email is listed here, jordan.bullington@cpcc.edu. Pretty easy to remember. For office hours, we talked about this in the introduction video, but again, if you do need to speak to me, it's by appointment only. And that's, of course, virtual meetings through Skype or Google Hangouts. But if at any point you want to talk to me via email, I'm happy to respond. Everything, of course, is due by Sunday at midnight, which we talked about in the introduction video. Now, I'll skip over the course objectives. The big thing that you need to know is that our course is the second course in a series of 2. If you've made it to English 112, you've successfully completed English 111. So I'm hoping that you have a really solid foundation in MLA formatting, which is going to be key to be successful in my course. In this course, we're going to be looking specifically at research techniques and different documentation styles. So we're going to be looking at MLA and, in addition, APA. We're going to be looking at different types of documentation styles. We won't get into it as heavy in the short session courses because we don't have a lot of time, but MLA formatting is the big one. If you're unfamiliar with MLA formatting, please make sure that you're looking through either the step-by-step tutorial that I have posted in week 2 or week 3, and then the actual image of what an MLA formatting first page of your paper would look like. So if you have questions, your textbooks will have more information, but you can always feel free to contact me and I can get you some more resources because that MLA formatting is going to make or break you when you're submitting assignments to me. So just be aware of how MLA formatting works and be sure to compose and format your papers correctly. Okay, I'm going to skip through core competencies. I'm going to assume that you guys can read through this in your own time. Required textbook. The textbook is the Practical Argument textbook. It is the second edition, so it was published in 2013. Some of you may have the older textbook, and that's fine. I would encourage you, though, to let me know, because what's going to happen is your page numbers aren't going to be the same. There may be some parts of the textbook that you don't have in the older edition that was added into the new edition. So a lot of times, additional additions to books, the content doesn't change necessarily, but the page numbers and the structuring of the book changes. So if you do have an older textbook, please do let me know. I'm a big Amazon fan. I bought all my textbooks through Amazon when I was in college. So if you would prefer to buy your textbook via Amazon, I've included a link in our syllabus. Do that as soon as possible, obviously, because you will need your book by week 2 of our course. You will need Microsoft Word, Internet access, and of course Blackboard to be successful in our course. My expectations. I'm going to expect you guys to attend all of our online courses and participate and respond to any discussions or assignments. Now, this is an asynchronous course, meaning at no point am I going to require you to be logged on at the same time. But in order to be counted as present for that particular week, you do have to submit assignments. So if week 1 happens and you don't submit the syllabus assignment or do the discussion board, if you don't do anything that's due for this week, I'm going to automatically mark you as absent. And that's the way it's going to be for all the weeks. So you're going to want to make sure that you are attending and submitting assignments, because Blackboard doesn't track your attendance, I track it. So just logging into Blackboard does not mark you as attending the course. I'm the final vote on all of attendance, so if you aren't submitting work, I will mark you as absent. So make sure that you are submitting all of your assignments by the deadlines. I'm going to expect that you are proficient as far as computer skills go, since you're taking an online course. You have to be familiar with Blackboard, Microsoft Word, and other technology resources. You need to be able to read and understand the syllabus and comply with all policies outlined in this document. And you must be proactive. As an online student, you have to understand that taking online courses requires you to be proactive. You're not going to meet with me once or twice a week to sit down and make sure that you're following all the instructions, you're making sure you're meeting all the deadlines. You're going to be responsible for making sure that you're keeping up with your assignments and your materials, and that you're submitting them all by the appropriate deadlines. You must be respectful of each other's writing and each other's work. We are going to be doing a lot of discussion boards, and we're going to be responding to each other. And it's okay to argue with each other. It's okay to push each other, but you have to do it respectfully. So if you disagree with a classmate in a discussion board, it's okay to point that out, but do it in a respectful manner. Okay, so disrespect will not be tolerated in our course. You are going to have the option to do some peer review if you choose. And if you do choose to do peer review, I will give you extra credit. So if you do some peer review, I do encourage you to be respectful and put a lot into it, because I'm going to be taking that peer review process very seriously, and I'm going to be looking to see how well you're doing, what kind of feedback you're giving your classmates, and if you're putting forth some really solid effort, then you're going to be getting some additional points on your papers. So do keep that in mind as we're moving forward. Number 8 is probably the biggest one. Number 8 is that you need to turn in all work on time and complete all assignments to the best of your ability. This is key for our class. I do not accept late assignments unless it's already been discussed and approved by me ahead of time. So, and ahead of time is the key part of this phrase. So if Sunday, when a paper is due, if Sunday during the day you send me an email to say something's come up, I'm not going to have any sympathy for you. I need some kind of advance notice. If something is going on, there's some extenuating circumstances, and you need some additional time, I am happy to work with you, but you have to let me know at least a couple days in advance. I need some time to plan, basically, because our class moves very quickly. So if I'm going to be grading your papers and your work in a later time, I need to make sure that I can plan accordingly to do that. Okay? Check your email and your discussion boards really frequently. You are required to communicate with me via CPCC email accounts only. If you email me from your personal email account at Yahoo or Hotmail or wherever, I'm not going to be able to verify your identity, and therefore I won't be able to respond. So make sure that you're communicating with me through your Central Piedmont Community College email address. Okay? You're, of course, are required to own the textbooks or rent the textbooks by the second week of class so that you can, of course, complete the reading assignment. And then expectations for communication. This is a bigger section. I expect respectful communication at all times. So all email correspondence with me should be formal and clear, and there should never be text language. Text language, of course, is your LOLs or the you for you, things like that. I don't want to see any of that in our email correspondence. And I understand that there are going to be times that you may be frustrated with an assignment or a grade, and I understand that at the time that you're writing an email, you may be in the heat of the moment, but at no time are you allowed to resort to disrespectful communication with me or any of your classmates. And disrespectful communication is anything from typing in all capital letters, using profane language, threatening, or name calling, anything that I deem disrespectful. If you write me an email that I consider to be disrespectful, you will receive a failing grade for our course right out of the gate. That's it. Regardless of how well you're doing, if you send me an email that is very disrespectful, then I reserve the right to fail you for the course. So just keep that in mind. Hopefully that will not happen. I've been very fortunate that I haven't had that happen, but I have had colleagues that I've run into it, and I just want to cut it off at the pass. So be aware that I am going to respect you, and therefore I am going to expect respect from you as well. Okay? Emails are going to be answered within one business day, keyword being business day, so Monday through Friday. If you email me on a Friday afternoon, chances are you're not going to receive a response from me until Monday. Don't look for, I might, there's a good chance I'll be checking my email over the weekend, so you may hear from me, but if you haven't heard from me Sunday night, don't worry, don't panic. I'll get back to you Monday. But do keep that in mind because assignments are due for me on Sunday, so don't wait till the last minute to start an assignment because if you email me on Saturday, I may not check my email and you just may be out of luck. So you're going to want to be proactive if you have any issues or questions with a particular assignment. And of course, holidays don't count as business days, but you guys know that. And one more time, your CPCC email is the only avenue of communication I have for each of you. So if you email me from personal email address, I will not be able to respond. Okay? Alright, so let's scroll down here. One of the last things that I want to point out is the plagiarism and academic integrity. Any student who violates the CPCC Code of Academic Integrity, which includes but is not limited to these infractions, is subject to disciplinary actions with penalties ranging from warnings to course failure. So if you plagiarize in my course, and I will know because Blackboard has a Safe Assign function, everything you submit for our course will run through Safe Assign, and it will flag any issue of plagiarism. If that happens, I do reserve the right to fail you for the course. If you plagiarize a paper, you automatically receive an F for that paper, and at that point, I can decide whether or not I want to fail you from our course. So just don't do it. And plagiarism, of course, is not only is it stealing from one or more parties' whole or partial work, but it's also self-stealing. Last semester, I had a student who failed to have a failing grade because she submitted a paper she had submitted in English 111 previously. The minute she put it in Blackboard, Blackboard flagged it because everything that she submitted in Blackboard is still in Blackboard. It connected it to her English 111 paper, showed me both, and showed me that it was word for word. It was the exact same paper, and so I could not give her credit for that paper. So you may not submit any work that you've submitted previously because it will be caught and it is plagiarism even if it is self-plagiarism. So just be aware of that moving forward. Okay, so the grading policy, this is what everybody wants to know. I know you guys are all aware that there is a 10-point scale at Central Piedmont. A 90 to 100 is an A, an 82 should be an 89 here is a B, 70 to 79 is C, and so on and so on. So it is a 10-point or a 9-point scale, I suppose. And then this is the breakdown of our course. So for our major written assignments, you'll have 3 that you'll submit for me for a total of 45% of your final grade. The question paper is the first. This is a lower stakes writing. It's worth 10% of your final grade. The debunking stereotypes assignment is 15% of your final grade, and the argument paper, which is our last written assignment, is 20% of your final grade. Then the 30% of your grade is classroom activities. So throughout the semester, I'm going to assign different activities based on the work that we're doing. So for this course, there'll be a citation assignment, a reading assignment, and a thesis assignment. So these are not difficult. They're really not. They're just kind of a way for me to gauge that you have a clear understanding of these three areas, say